All right, cool. 1, 2, 3. Okay, my name is Osy Ikhile. I am an actor. I started acting professionally, I'd say at 19. I always did like drama in like school and stuff, and that was always something that I enjoyed and got good grades in, and I didn't know why. I didn't really understand it. I was like, this is just the play lesson, isn't it? You don't really do nothing, you just play around. But I enjoyed it. I never thought it was like something I could do professionally, because growing up, all I watched was mostly American TV. I never really saw like black British people on TV because everything I watched was American. So I didn't think like there was really I didn't have any actor friends or anything like that. I didn't know it was a world out there for black British actors, which I do now. I found out that Idris Elba was from Hackney, and he was in The Wire at the time. So seeing him in that made me feel like, if this guy can do it, I can do it too. And then I started trying to take it a little bit more seriously, but I was in uni at the time. I was doing graphic design and animation. I've always been like a creative soul, always wanted to do something, graphic design, photography, animation, edits, whatever it was. And then I was going to a drama club. I was living in Kilburn at the time, South Kilburn. And somebody said something about an open audition for this show called Dubplate Drama. I don't know if you remember it. It was this late night, choose your own ending, like music-based drama thing. And they were holding auditions down the road from where the drama club was. I think there was like 200 kids there from the surrounding areas, basically. And all of my drama class went, and we just went for fun, for jokes. It was like, fuck it, let's just see what happens, innit? And then I got the part, and I was like, oh, snap. I must be all right. Like, I started taking it a bit more seriously. Again, I was still in uni at the time. And whenever I start something, I don't want to just stop for no reason, apart from college and A-levels. But after that, I didn't want to stop anything. So I finished uni, but that show was my first forte into professional acting. That was how I started. First time on set, man, I was gassed. I was so gassed. Somebody else had a bigger part. Obviously, for an open audition, they're not gonna. I didn't know this at the time, but they don't give those roles to. They don't open audition for big roles and stuff. It's normally really small roles for the most part. I didn't know this at the time, so I was gassed. I was like, I made it. Forget you. I'm gone. And then I get there, and it was a very humbling experience, because it wasn't that at all. It was. I was confident in the fact that I got the part for a reason. I must have had what they wanted to see, but I was also very, very terrified that they'd be like, yeah, this guy's shit. I don't know what you guys were thinking, you know? But everybody was really cool. Luckily, there wasn't any kind of, you don't know what you're doing or what's he doing here kind of mentality. Everybody was really welcoming and stuff. So after Dubplate, I went to an audition for a part-time drama school, because I was like, damn, if I got that, then I got to take acting more seriously, because this is way more fun than going uni. I did a summer internship at a graphic design company, and that was what I was studying at uni. And I quickly realized that I hated working for a company doing graphic design. It just wasn't fun for me. Like, freelance was better, but it was a lot harder to make a living out of. Acting was a hell of a lot more fun. And if you get it right, I felt like my life could be really, really good, which it is now. So I'm glad I did that. But so I started taking it more seriously. I went to Identity Drama School, which is like this part-time drama school. You go two times a week, and they get all these accredited teachers to come in and teach you like Meisner, Stanislavski, theater technique, audition technique, movement stuff. So that was a really, really big help for me, because I didn't go to drama school, and I'm in this industry. Sometimes it's harder if you don't go to drama school, but if you've got some kind of idea or some kind of raw talent, then it's still doable. I'm testament to that. I know some people, a lot of my friends didn't go to drama school as well, my close ones anyway. So I went to Identity. They also had an agency, and they put me on books like pretty much as soon as I got into the school, which was rare, but I didn't know that at the time. I was just grateful to be taking that step to start taking acting a little bit more seriously. And they started putting me up for stuff. And it was just one humbling experience after the other, because for the first year, I didn't book shit. My first audition was for Misfits. I was gassed after like the open audition, thinking, yeah, I'm sick, man. What? I booked my first job. I booked this one. I booked that one. I didn't get nothing for like a year. And luckily, Femi Oguns, who was the head agent at the time, I think he's more of like a manager now, but he saw something in me and just kept pushing me. And the work slowly started to trickle in. I started doing a lot of British comedies, like one episode here, one episode there, quite a few of them. It was like stages of stuff that helped me to jump to the next level slowly but surely in my own head. I at the start, I used to always compare my career to other people's, and I learned quite quickly that that only leads to dark places. You know, comparison is just the death of any kind of creativity or positive life set. So I put blinders on and I just focused on staying in my lane, racing my own race, only comparing myself to myself the year before, you know? And doing that made me a lot more, how can I say it, ready for the rejection. So I set myself little targets throughout the career. My first feature film, my first like leading a series, all this kind of stuff. And slowly but surely I was getting all those things and enjoying the journey more and more. I think Heart of the Sea was like the first big, Heart of the Sea was the film that changed everything for me in a sense of, for 5 years, I was working every retail job under the sun. Like name a retail store on Oxford Street, I probably worked there part-time, and as soon as I booked another job, I'd be like, I'm gone, I've made it. And then having to go back and hand out CVs again once the job's over for like 5 years. And then Heart of the Sea gave me the capital to work full-time as an actor, freely without having to worry about money and stuff. Heart of the Sea is the true story of Moby Dick. It was directed by Ron Howard, who's a big deal, I guess, yeah. Chris Hemsworth was in it. He was the lead. Cillian Murphy was in it, one of my favorite actors at the time, so it was hard not fangirling over him, but he's sick. It was sick. And that's where I met Tom Holland, who is now Spider-Man, and a few other peeps, man. Everyone's doing really well from that film. Frank Delane's in Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know if anyone's heard of that, but it's sick. He's sick. We filmed for 3 months in Warner Brothers Leavesden, then we went to Lanzarote for a month. So it was like my first studio film and then going abroad to film, and it was just incredible. It was eye-opening. It was like doing all this stuff and then that door gets kicked open. It's like, oh shit, look at all this stuff. And it was great. It came out at the same day as the new Star Wars, so it got swamped at the cinema. Nobody saw it. Pretty much bombed, but it was a good film. I'm glad I got to be a part of it. Even though I'd been on sets quite a lot, that was the first time that I had been on a set of that caliber, that many people. There must have been like 200 plus crew, not just the actors on that. And there was so many different parts to get one shot. There's so many different people involved at that level, at any level. But for there, it was like really, really intricate because there's like millions and millions of dollars into this film. And I remember I was doing my first scene that I had to shoot for it. I had to do that take 16 times. And then Ron talked to me and he was like, no, it wasn't you. It was the focus and the lighting and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of different elements that I didn't know about, and I'm just beating myself up, but I didn't know that. So I learned to trust that it's collaborative. Even if you're doing a one-man show, if you're doing a TV show, no matter what you're doing, this industry is fully collaborative. You can't do it on your own. So you can't think that just because you fucked up, that everything's gonna be messed up, you know? And it taught me to just trust in the team that I've been blessed to work with, essentially, and just do my part, do the best that I can do, and just trust that they will put the rest into place. Tarzan, if I can be honest, wasn't a great experience. Margot Robbie is incredible. Samuel L. Jackson, yeah, he was cool, I guess. Alexander Skarsgård was cool. Worked with him again on another film, but I met some really cool friends on there. It was weird. It was a time when, how can I explain this now without sounding ungrateful? Okay. Creatively, I feel like in any industry, you set yourself a goal, right? And then as soon as you hit that goal, you subconsciously set yourself another goal. Tarzan made me realize that I don't want to do that small of a role again, because I feel like if I'm going to progress, I need to start saying no to these smaller parts to start doing the meatier parts, you know? Heart of the Sea was my small role to get me into different rooms and stuff. I shouldn't have done Tarzan. I should have let somebody else do that. Does that make any sense? But at the time, I needed to do it to learn that lesson, essentially. So I'm glad I did, because I learned that lesson, and I've started saying no to those kind of roles because they're not as fulfilling as they used to be now that I've been in the industry for some time and I've done certain things. Not that they're not worthy of me, but where I want to go, I need to focus on the stuff that I want to do, you know? So I'll go up for the things that I want to do. If I book them, good. If I don't, great. But I'll never be in a place where I'm so desperate to get a job that I'll do another tiny role in something, because that's what it felt like. I felt like I was a supporting artist or an extra, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But after spending years doing decent characters, I wanted to move up to something else, you know? That's what Tarzan was like as an experience. It was a great learning curve, and I met some cool peeps. Black Mirror now is what I wanted to do, is the reason I started saying no to the smaller parts and only auditioning for things that if I got the job, I'd actually want to do. I auditioned for Black Mirror 3 times, 3 years in a row. I didn't get the first one. I didn't get the second one. I think Malachi got that second one in season, what was my season, 4? Yeah, Malachi got that in season 3, his episode with the government making refugees look like monsters. And then when USS Callister came along, I was hoping and I was praying that I got it. It's one of those rare things where you read something and you're like, I really, really want this job. You do 100 auditions, you book 1 job. So it was one of them things. I auditioned for it, and I'm like, yes, please let me fucking do this job. I love Black Mirror. I would love to do this. And then I get the call saying I'm doing it. And it was one of those rare jobs where it's like, yes, fuck yes. My mom's gonna love this. My inner geek is gonna freak out when I'm on a ship, flying a spaceship through, like them watching it. It was incredible. We went back to Lanzarote, actually. I've done a lot of Lanzarote stuff, but we filmed in Lanzarote for 2 weeks, and then we were in Twickenham Studios for 2 weeks. And everybody was cool. Everybody was having a good time and just loving being on that show, because Black Mirror at that time, season 4, was, I think, the second season that Netflix had picked it up. And it was just incredible. One of my favorite jobs. Second favorite job ever. It was one of those, what made it good was it was one of those goals that I had set for myself that I had achieved. You know, being on something of that scale, of that caliber in the streaming world, because I feel like streaming has kind of taken over what's more viewed these days. You know, you put a film on Netflix, it's probably going to get seen by more people than if you go to cinema. But anyway, it was that, and just being exposed to that many people and getting to tell this story on that fucking scale is just, being a part of the alumni of Black Mirror it feels good. It feels special, because that came out of the UK and now it's global. And I was part of a really, really good episode. So I'm really grateful for that. I guess the aftermath, or the way it's been viewed and received and stuff, made it incredible. But during, every day was just like, I can't believe I'm doing Black Mirror. I can't believe I'm in a spacesuit, cool, I'm doing Black Mirror, this is crazy. Why am I here? I can't believe this. You know what I mean? It was just one of those dream jobs. I think that's what made it so good. Ooh, sweat. I'm gonna offend my political connects now, but I haven't been a huge fan of theatre, because theatre isn't what got me into acting. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Shakespeare because when I'm reading it, I got to read it like 4 times to understand what the fuck's going on. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some people are just great, and I know it's not the best actor thing to say that you're not a fan of Shakespeare, but I'm honest, I don't love the guy. And theatre isn't what got me into acting either. I love the escapism of TV and film. Every time I go see a play, most of the time, I'm itching to leave. Most of the time. Now I only go to theatre if I know somebody that's in it or everybody's saying it's the most incredible thing ever. Those are the only times I go to the theatre. And when it comes to plays as well, as an actor, for me personally, you put so much more of yourself into these roles because you're living in that character for about an hour 40, 2 hours at a time. You're living it. There ain't no stop and start. So you're pouring your heart into these characters. So when I read a play, if I'm not in love with it straight away, then I won't even audition for it. You know what I mean? Because sadly, it feels like there's more work and you're putting more of yourself into the theatre roles and you're getting, not to be like money is the be all and end all, but I got to survive, do you know what I mean? You're not getting paid respectively for what you are giving as an individual, which is fair. There's not enough money to pay them, but I became very, very, very picky with the plays that I would do. So I've only ever done Edinburgh Fringe. I did another Edinburgh Festival, and then I did Torn at the Royal Court, and this has been my 4th professional play in 10 years. And I'm okay with that, because I'd rather do something that I love rather than just work for the sake of it. I'm so glad I don't have that, oh, I need to work, I need to work, I need to work. And it's not that I'm well off enough to be able to do that. It's just that I know that doing this job, I would much rather do what I love than just do a job for the sake of it and then hate the experience and then make me hate acting. Because I've done some of those. Tarzan was one of those. Made me almost hate acting. Do you know what I mean? But Sweat changed my life. Lynette Linton is an incredible director, and she just flipped the script. She cast a group of people who are just incredible talent straight away. I got into that rehearsal room. I do loads of American audition tapes, and The Sweat is an American play. As soon as I got to the read through and I'm hearing everybody's accents and stuff, I was like, oh fuck, I got to pull this out of the bag, boy. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can punch with these guys. These guys are good. And then we broke down this script in a way that I've never broken down anything in theater before. There was so much passion, there was so much love there, and just really getting to the core of what the story was. It wasn't like, oh, this is a story about a bunch of poor people whose factory broke down. It was getting down to the core, the nitty gritty of how people are manipulated, how people are swayed, how relationships and families and communities break down because of corporations messing stuff up. And if we didn't do that, a lesser director would have just gone the poverty porn way. You know what I mean? But we broke down these characters, we broke down this story. We did that for 5 weeks, and it came to the point where this was the first time ever that on a first performance, on the first day of actual work, first preview, there was no nerves in me whatsoever. No nerves. And I always thought that was a good thing, to have to be nervous before you get on a job. And I was saying to Martha Plimpton, who was one of the leads in it, I'm not nervous. Is that strange? Do you know what I mean? And she's like, no, it's because of what Lynette's done. She's given us so much confidence in this play. She's broken it down, and we've worked so fucking hard on this that, if anything, you're excited, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking stoked. But I'm not nervous. And that came from that process, that rehearsal process of just bringing these characters to life. It changed everything. And every single show, I just loved the way the words felt coming out of my mouth. I loved performing as this character. I loved every single person on that stage. We all had each other's backs. And it showed in the audience, it showed in the reviews and the critic responses. Like, it was just incredible. My favorite job ever, and I never thought I'd say that about a play, but it was, hands down. It was sick. There's this stigma, right, that people need to get over, that online content is a lesser form of getting your idea out there, okay? TV is dead. TV is going the way of radio. I say this in a way, maybe not radio. How can I explain this properly? When I say TV, I don't mean TV shows. I mean the terrestrial television, right? BBC Three is now online only, and they've got some great fucking content. Netflix is a streaming platform. It is no different to YouTube. You know what I mean? They started off like delivering DVDs and stuff, but now they're just online only. Online is the future. It's the present, if anything. So creating something because you can, why not? If you're doing it just to create, just to have something and be like, I created that. I wanted to write something. I wanted to shoot something, film something, edit it, put it together, put it out there. I've done it. It's there. Who's going to stop me? YouTube gives you that freedom. Vimeo gives you that freedom. And sometimes, Issa Rae, she started off doing YouTube. She was just doing monologue like vlogs straight to cam. And now it's Insecure. Do you know what I mean? These things are a way or a different, it's just a different avenue to get to where you want to go. Sometimes you do it just for the fun of it, and sometimes you do it with no expectation and it turns into Insecure, or what was another one? Just a Couple, Michael Salami did. That started off as a web series on YouTube, and it's on BBC Three. Anybody who thinks that that's less than, or that you shouldn't because people might not see it or whatever, miss me with that shit, man. Do what you're doing. Make it. You can do it yourself. A fucking film that was made on an iPhone won at Cannes. Cannes is one of the most prestigious festivals, film festivals in the world. Somebody filmed a movie on an iPhone and it won, okay? I do it because I can. Simple. I don't need the budget. I don't need reams of people to do it. And in between jobs to handle that itch of, oh, I'm not working, I'll just go and create, you know? And you have to keep those creative juices flowing. You can't be like, oh, I'm not working, so I'm just gonna sit down and play PlayStation all day. Don't get it wrong, I play a lot of Switch, Nintendo, like a lot, but I have time for that. And then I need to keep the creative juices flowing. Even if it's like little sketches on Instagram or whatever, just create, just do it. And you never know who's gonna see it, man. You never know what opportunity that's gonna unveil. And don't worry about view count or anything, just do it because you love doing it. That's what I say. Some of the hardest times for me as an actor, if I can be completely real right now, is struggling with self-belief, struggling with the idea that I may have picked the wrong career, or just fearing that I'm not good enough, which I feel a lot of actors go through, and some people might deny it, but in an industry where Imagine having to go to a job interview every week, like 3 times a week, and then most of the time you don't get a job. That's what it's like. Getting used to that was really difficult. I'm not gonna lie, it was really, really difficult. Going through that period, that first 5 years where I was doing every other retail job, and knowing that you're doing that because you have a goal set in mind, like you wanna be you see yourself somewhere else. Going through those 5 years and going through all the rejection, and going through the moments where it's like you're down to the last 2 for a really big project that could easily change your life, that happens quite often, and it hurts. It's hard to not take that personally, you know? What I learned to do was forget the audition. I started doing this about 2-3 years ago. I'd audition, as soon as it's done, whether I feel like I've done well or not, I crumple up the script, I throw it in the bin, God's got me. You know, if I get it, good. If I don't, what's next? Teaching myself to have an abundant mentality, abundant mindset, like not going into auditions desperate, like, oh, I need this job. Oh, I really need this job. Do you know what I mean? Like going in there, and that hardship taught me to treat every audition as work. Like, you have to watch me perform. I am a performer. This is my stage. That audition room is my stage. So whether I get the job or not, if I get it, it's a bonus. If not, I had a good performance today. I went to work. I didn't get paid, but I worked. Do you know what I mean? That was a long process to get to where I am now. I'm not as, don't get it wrong, I'm still human. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I still have sometimes I have doubts of, oh man, that was shit. I could have done better. I could have done better in that scene. Fuck. I could have done better. I could have done better. And then like learning to silence those thoughts and just be like, look, you got to live in the moment, because if you keep focusing on what happened, you're going to fuck up what's going on right now. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that hardship because it led me to here. It's weird. Like when I first started out, none of my friends were actors. None of them. And then slowly, and it was by no fault of my own or theirs, everything just changed. Like, some people didn't get me disappearing for 3 months at a time, leaving the country, or being in the country, not being able to see anyone for just different portions or whatever. And people just start to drift. As people grow, they drift. And I think it's a combination of age and my new lifestyle of disappearing and coming back and stuff. I'm not as close to them anymore, you know? So now all my friends are actors because they get it. But I still have a few like OGs that I've known from like when I was a kid that they still start by and they get it, and they're really, really supportive. You know what I mean? So I think I can count them on one hand though, you know? It's not as hard as it is. It's not as hard as it used to be, because now the people that aren't actors, they do get it. And the ones who couldn't handle it or didn't get it, they bounced and they're like Instagram friends now. They're cool, you know, we say hi every now and again, but I feel like you need to surround yourself with people that you want to be more like, you know? And that's what I've kind of done, yeah. Who were some of the best actors that I've worked with and why? The whole cast of Sweat, because they are just incredible. I learned something off every single one of them about myself, about the industry, about acting, and they are all just phenomenal to share the stage with. Jesse Plemons, he was the lead on Black Mirror. When you see him act, it doesn't look like he's doing anything. But then you see the results on screen, and it's just like, wow, you know? I guess that's something I might have learned at drama school, I don't know. But just those tiny little micro movements that the naked eye would never see because of those close-ups and stuff, it all reads. It all reads, and it's all beautiful. I didn't know that. I guess doing comedy, you're a lot more animated and stuff when you're doing like TV comedy and stuff. But yeah, that was just something I was like, wow. Yeah, he was incredible. Cillian Murphy on Heart of the Sea, always loved his acting, and he doesn't disappoint in person either. He's very magnetic actor to watch. Michaela Cole's pretty dope. She was in Black Mirror. She was incredible. As everybody knows, she is a talent. But watching her work is just so effortless. So effortless. Like, she knows she's the shit, you know?